listening to Enlivening Musings, a podcast to enhance your life so you live fully alive. Sponsored by the Pleasure Fairy app. Download it for more support. Welcome to Enlivening Musings. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Katie.
And today we are going to talk a little bit about pelvic steaming because that is one of Katie's awesome things that she gifts the world with. And I'm excited to draw out and invite her to talk about what this magic thing is. So, welcome, Katie.
Yeah, thank you.
If you have never heard of pelvic steaming, it is sometimes called yoni steaming, vaginal steaming. But it's not just for femme-bodied, vulva-bodied people. So How about you just give everyone kind of a little rundown, like what on earth is this?
That's a very good question because I think even just breaking down what the experience is, because a lot of people, when they hear about it, in their mind, for some reason, it goes right to like, I think what they're visualizing is me having like a machine of some sort and going up to their pelvic space and like steaming it, like a portable steam cleaner.
Like for laundry, for clothes or something.
I feel like that's the image that a lot of people get. And I think the more I talk to people and hear that response, the more I realize like, oh, I need to even back up this level of education to what the experience is like. So yes, it can be male or female bodies. You know, of course, for like the female body, there's like so many different benefits for it. As for like men, a lot of times would be used for like hemorrhoids or prostate issues or just general relaxation, even things like hip pain, low back pain. And then I think I said just general relaxation, hitting some of those powerful acupressure points.
So I've done it, so like I know what it's like, but can you explain what is it? So it's not somebody coming up there doing that. You know, how does it work? What tools do you need? Can you do it yourself? Should you see a practice? I mean, this is a ton of questions. We'll just start with what is it? What tools do you need?
So you need, there's such a range. Like the simplest thing you need is water, right? Mm-hmm. If it comes down to one thing, it's water and like the steam. But I recommend, obviously, because I've been trained in it and I feel the benefits of working with someone who's had some solid training and been through a program that is like, you know, professional and somewhat, I don't want to say rigorous, but kind of, you know, like there's tests and like making sure that you're doing the right thing and being safe, because it is a very safe practice, but we just want to like keep the integrity of it, I guess and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent of what it is, but I'm really passionate about bringing it into the more mainstream world, as it truly is such a legitimate modality to help people with so many pelvic dysfunctions. So for that reason, I take it pretty seriously in that regard and keep it to that level of professionalism, I guess. And that's my background and my training. There's also a lot of people that are trained through like folk medicine, or it's handed down to them. So then there's all of that too. That can be much more of like a simplistic, where you do really just need this pot of water and then the recommended herbal blend.
Yeah. So, okay. I want to interject there for just a minute. So, I feel like when I first heard about it and everything, that is kind of what I picked up on it, you know, which of course, doing my own other herbalism type things and this and that, that's where my mind goes, being in like the midwifery world all of it, you know, so I go towards and gravitate towards that older, traditional, culture-y kind of stuff, even though, and I've heard that that shows up in a lot of different cultures, that all sorts of different cultures just had their own variation of it. And I know recently I saw the steamy chick who is like the world-renowned known person for really starting to bring this to be a little bit more modernized into the world from what I've witnessed. But a post from the movie Kama Sutra where a woman was just standing over a bowl that was steaming that had an herbal blend to like prepare for a sexual experience encounter. And just the feeling of that little clip that was shared, I feel like that, I mean, minus the woman's face, because the whole storyline of that is a little bit different. But the actual act of just standing over it and like preparing in that way and just bringing that up, like that's the feeling that it gives me. It gives me that connection to myself, that connection to the herbs, that connection to these roots of being able to heal ourselves with living in harmony with the planet. And so now the modernized version of that, we have, stools and things. So, okay.
Right. Okay. So kind of back to that. Yeah. I mean, there's so many tangents I could go on,
Well,
but okay.
we'll do a bunch of episodes on this. Okay, because there are so many benefits, like Katie mentioned too, and so we'll go into all of that. This is really just like your teaser first taste.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So a sauna is nice to have. I call it a sauna because the type of equipment I use, it's a box, and so I love it for so many reasons because it's like it contains the steam really, really well, so it controls the heat. And it's like the perfect size. Like those are things you want to look out for is the perfect hole size because you want the pelvic floor supported. And there's a variety of people selling different steam stools and saunas out there, like Etsy, Amazon, all different places. I mean, when I first started steaming, I couldn't find one anywhere. I mean, I had to make one. My parents helped me make my first one.
I
It was so
love
sweet.
that.
My mom and dad both. And I started with like a plastic camping commode. So you can get really creative. You can take an old chair and cut a hole in the middle. These are all different things. But the more I did it and I realized like, I don't really want something plastic. I don't really want something with like furniture glue and all that stuff,
Right.
which I think is important to a lot of people when you're like introducing steam into that delicate space. We want it as like healthy and pure as possible
clean.
and clean as
Yeah.
possible. But that being said, more than anything, I always want this to be accessible to people. So, if investing in this, sauna is just not on the cards for somebody, there's different ways to set it up, like making your own chair. The simplest way I heard, and this is if you're like cool with plastic, is to take like a milk cart crate box, kind of like from a grocery store. I guess they often will just throw them away, but they're like a crate, so they have holes in them, and you could like put towels down and put your steam underneath that, and then it would come up through all those holes.
Oh
in the
yeah.
plastic.
Sure.
So, it's what it is. Would I do that? Probably not, but not everyone, I try to just keep it really accessible more than anything and be pretty open with people while still saying this is what I recommend. So anyway, basically you're taking water and boiling it, putting some herbs in the water. There's usually different recipes, I guess I use, like 4 main ones for people that are having basically any sort of stagnation issue, which is the most common. So like clotting, painful periods, brown blood, things like that, and longer than 29 days. Let's say like your period's quote unquote missing. And then there's a gentle blend that's used postpartum, pre-period, starting for young girls. And also if people are having really short cycles or they're having a lot of like uterine fatigue, so overall fatigue, so 27 days or less. There's a disinfecting blend I use if people are having issues with infections of any sort. And then probably one of the most common ones I use as well is the cooling blend. Cooling/moisturizing. So it just has a bit more moisturizing herbs with, and most of the women I work with are, over 35. So I tend to gravitate towards that one because most of those women are starting to have issues with some dryness, some heat intolerance, some night sweats, things like that. So it's just very nice to use. And they have a lot of similar herbs involved, just little tweaks here and there in different dosages. And then, for me, sometimes I'll ask people, like what's going on spiritually, what's going on emotionally, and can we find an herb to add in to support that for you?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So that's what we do. We put the herbs in, let them steep. Usually it's 10 minutes for the Gentle Blend, it has astragalus, so it needs a little bit longer, like 30 minutes to break down that root. And then people steam anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, and all depends kind of on like their intake form and what's going on with them and their history. So, and that's it. They're sitting, when they come to my practice and do it, they're sitting in a room by themselves, fully clothed. They put on a long skirt, so it's like complete modesty the whole time. They're nice and comfy, pillows, blankets. I encourage them to sit quietly if they can, to not be on their phone, get into it, as I always say. Journal a little bit. I usually keep some different, wild feminine book out there, some herbalism books for them to kind of dive into if they want to look or journal. And then that's it. They just hang out by themselves in a quiet room with some nice soothing music. And then I just check in, make sure the temperature's good, and let them be. And then afterwards, they all come out a different person.
No kidding. I can imagine. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think before we just wrap up, I'd love to know what was kind of your journey? Like, what introduced you to this?
Yeah. So when I first found, I had heard people talk about it, like different yoga teachers and stuff, but I was just like, okay, you hear it the first time, you're like, all right, interesting. But then I was taking a training, like an online class of some sort, or listening to speakers. And one of the sponsors was a steam sauna company. So I just started looking into it. And then, Google down the rabbit hole, and I ended up finding Kelly Steamy Chick's website. I think that's when I bought that camping thing to try to start to do it. And then I just bought some herbs off Etsy and just went for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so amazing the first time I did it. And I think right away I just signed up to take the training because I just knew I loved it. And the more I heard about it and the potential benefits for people and what it could help with, I was like, sold. This is so important. I'm going to just talk about it all the time. And so that's what I do.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love doing it. I love learning everything extra that I've learned about it from you. It's just so much fun to connect with you and talk about it because you can feel that passion and love for it, and just knowing that you're witnessing that transformation in people all the time, whether they're coming into your office or you're helping them over the phone or anything like that. And I think it's worth saying, if you're out there listening and you want to buy your own steam sauna, you can connect on Katie's website, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I have saunas available. Anyone that's local, Fargo, Moorhead, general area, I have them in stock. So I can always deliver them, help you set up your first steam at home. Otherwise, they can mail to you anywhere in the country. You can drop ship them. And we can do the consultation virtually, get you set up with some herbs coming your way as often as you need them. So,
yes. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to connect with anybody. I worked with people all over the country and locally too. And it's always it just fills up my heart. I love it.
I love it too. Awesome. All right. So that's your little taste. That's your little introduction to pelvic steaming and seeing how much it vibes for you right off the bat. And we're going to do a little series here. We're going to go into all of the different, uses, services that it can help with. I mean, we're talking anywhere from postpartum, trying to conceive, menopause, postmenopause, all of it. So stay tuned. We send you so much love, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like more support, hop on the Pleasure Fairy app or find Katie at wellnesswithkatie.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Enlivening Musings if you want to share some takeaways or other requests for future shows. Enjoy.